Hassel's in Mexico. And that sounds really nice right about now.
That does sound nice right about now.
It is.
I'm heading to Arizona tomorrow.
What's the weather in Arizona like right now?
72 degrees is the high today.
Man.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, this is one of those days where, I mean, it just is painful to walk out there.
Dude, it's brutal. I went and started my car about 15 minutes before I had to take the kids to the bus. The bus stop is like 4 houses down. And I was like, nope, I'm starting my car.
Does your car like stop after a while?
No.
Okay, so like my truck it'll like run for 10 minutes and then stop. I think I started it 3 times before I took the kids this morning.
It's one of those mornings, man. I think it was like -7 on my phone when I woke up.
Paul's watching.
That's real feel.
YouTube. He says it's colder than a witch's titty out there. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's what it is. It is what it is.
That's what I was thinking. So Hassel's he's been all week. He's just been insufferable. Like sending pictures of himself in like the ocean.
Yeah.
Drinking his little fruity, hoity-toity drinks. You know, like his little Manhattans, all that stuff. He's just having a hell of a time.
I was going to say, I wondered if I should have like some sort of martini or like I definitely should have like more expensive clothes on or things behind me. I need to be elitist.
Normally we would do the martini thing, or whatever your choice is, but it's 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I bet there's some good dive bars down in Cancun.
Well, I'm glad that we chose to do this on Thursday morning because we were kind of torn because Iowa State had a game, but we knew it was like one of those joke games. But it was actually kind of interesting because they broke a school record. And
that's the thing. I mean, people would not have wanted to turn off that game, I'm sure. Like for, the neutral fan or for us Hawkeye fans, it wasn't real interesting. But that's one of those games where if you're a fan of the team that's doing that, it's just fun. You just kind of sit there and laugh and enjoy it.
Probably made the right call. The ghost of Air McNair did not impact Alcorn State last night. We have so much.
Hey, they got out to what, a 7-2 lead. They had their moment.
You know more about the game
almost
than I do,
texted
Downs.
you guys.
That's really sad.
I almost texted you guys. I'm like, man, we're gonna be talking about a loss on the show.
Well, then Iowa State, I think, made its first 10 shots. It was crazy. Crazy night.
Hey, it's always Cyclones versus the world, right, Chris?
Well,
even when you win by 100.
We'll get to it later, but I have a bone to pick with Andrew Downs. We'll get to all that coming up here. It's 2 guys. Andrew Downs is filling in for Hassel today, right after this.
They say the grass is greener where you water it. For me, that means being loyal, putting in the work, and being part of a community that raised me. Fareway, your home court advantage.
Rodeo fans, saddle up for the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, presented by RM43, January 9th and 10th at Casey Center. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. Get tickets now at HighVTix.com. The buck starts here at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo.
Chris Williams, Chris Hassel, 2 Chris's, 1 network. This is 2 Guys. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is 2 Guys. Exclusively on Iowa Everywhere.
All right. This is great. I used to do a lot of radio with this guy. My best friend in the entire world, Andrew Downs, with us here today. Hey, brother.
I appreciate that.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, it was funny. I was listening to the CW pod, which people should go and listen to if they haven't this week. And you were kind of talking about your history, and I guess I didn't realize it was so short after you kind of went full time with Cyclone Fanatic that you and I met on Miller and Dace in the morning on KXNO, and I was just a producer. I'd never spoken a word on that show. They weren't looking to me for insight. Those two guys had their own thing.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought because when I started interning with you in like 2011, 2012, and I didn't realize you had like kind of just gotten into Fanatic. I was like, I thought you were kind of an established guy, but I was.
To me, you were like this. Yeah, you were this guy who, I mean, these guys are calling you to fill in on this show. Like, oh my god. And then you got like right before the light goes on the first morning, you're like, hey, I'm gonna bring you in on this. I'm gonna talk to you because you were just by yourself, and that's kind of the start of my at least on air part of my radio gig.
I was horrified doing that. I remember that like it was yesterday. It was Iowa State had just played. So weird. My whole life, I can tell you like the closest Iowa State game to it, and if the Cyclones won it, they had just played. I think it was North Dakota. It was in the Greg McDermott era. And they won by like 30, but all the fans were pissed because it should have been by more and everything, and whatever.
We don't have that problem today.
I remember that so I had been around. I just hadn't been at Cyclone Fanatic.
Right.
I had been
because this was like the winter
of
it was like right around Christmas 09.
Yes.
So geez,
there was a huge snowstorm too. Do you remember that?
16 years ago. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it really ages us. When you go back when you go back and think of it that way. We are presented as always by our friends at Fareway Meat and Grocery. If you're ever going to stop by a Fareway and maybe make a pot of chili, this would be the day to do it.
Oh yeah.
All of our great Fareway supporters. I'm really honored. Speaking of that book, my book will be in 32 different Fairways across the state. I don't know exactly.
Cool.
I don't know exactly which ones yet. I'll find that out hopefully by the end of the week. Maybe not, maybe early next week, but you'll be able to see it there. So thanks to them for supporting that venture of mine. Really cool. We are in the Channel Seed Studios as always. And we really do have a lot to get to. So I know we don't have football, but we do have a major weekend of basketball coming up for both of our teams. And then we have Cyhawk coming up next week with big men's and women's games. We'll get to all those. And then we have championship football as well. I also want to take some time today. When Downs and I do shows together, we often shy away from the X's and O's, and we like to get more into the philosophical conversations. And I think there's a really good one to be had right now with Lane Kiffin, Kalani Sitake choosing to stay at BYU as opposed to taking the bigger job. And then, I mean, am I worried at all about Matt Campbell's potential involvement in Penn State? We can get to all of that as well. But I do think we lead with basketball today because Iowa had its biggest game of the year on Tuesday. We can talk about that. We can Iowa State sets a school record last night against Alcorn State. There's not a lot to pick off the bone there, but Iowa State does have a massive road trip. Really, Andrew, top 3 or 4 non-conference game of the entire college basketball season because it's on campus. We don't ever see top 10 teams play each other on campus. Iowa State at Purdue.
It's not one of these like weird, holiday tournaments. It's not in a ballroom where there's 15 people. Yeah, this is going to be a packed environment at Purdue. It's going to be a fun game, man. And I will say, like, that's what you're supposed to do to a team like Alcorn State. But this team right now, this Cyclone team, what you saw last night is a team with momentum, a team like ready to go. It's too bad you can't just go right from this Purdue game and this Iowa game into like Big 12 play because this team feels like it's gearing up for something big. And I mean that's without Lipsy. You're not even at full strength right now. Mm-hmm. But this team is. Again, you expect Iowa State to beat a team like Alcorn State, but to shoot as well as they did last night, it's going to be different at Purdue for sure, but you have to feel as good as you possibly can going into that game.
I thought this team would be really good this year. I think it's considerably better than I thought it would be just based on the freshmen, the 2 freshman guards. I mean, Bateman hadn't done a ton, and again, I understand the opponent. I mean, last night was basically a scrimmage. But to see him go 6 of 9 from 3, I mean, that's kind of the guy that he was advertised as. And I'm close enough to that program to know that that's the guy that they got all summer. Like he was doing that against Taman Lipsy and against Killian Torre on the second string. So, like, it is encouraging. We know what they have in Jefferson. I think that this you know what you have in Momcilovic. It was kind of those other guards to kind of replace Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert, and they've been really good. I still think like there's going to be a wall that Torrey will hit.
Yeah.
And I bet it comes on Saturday, if I'm being honest. Matt Painter, you have really big physical players. He's being scouted for the first time. I would be shocked if he scores 20 points against Purdue the way that he did against Creighton and against Syracuse. I would be shocked. But the cool thing when you play games like this is it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Like if they lose, you don't really lose anything. It's not going to hurt your analytics. It's not really going to hurt what people think of you. It's just you have everything to gain by playing in a game like this. And it's just this is what I mean, when we grew up in an era of college basketball, you got games like this.
Yeah. A lot
right?
more often.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
do you remember I remember when we were kids, I've talked to Settles about this a million times. They played home and homes with Kansas.
Oh yeah.
Iowa did.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Alford's first game was against a UConn team that had just won the national championship and knocked Iowa out of the tournament the year before.
Didn't they win that
game?
They
won. It was like
Jacob Jakes.
It was like, oh, thank God we got rid of Tom Davis.
We got to get Jacob Jakes on a pod.
That'd be fun. That'd be
He's
great.
probably just got tattoos all over his face.
But yeah, games like this don't happen very often anymore. And so, like you said, it's awesome for everybody that it is going to happen. It doesn't hurt anybody, no matter who wins, no matter who loses. It's a great game analytically. You go into it as a Cyclone fan knowing you have nothing to lose, as you just said. You can and a lot to gain. I mean, you win this game and
you're probably. I mean, you're arguably the number one team in the country if you win this game. I mean, like for real. Like if you look at what they've done, with wins over St. John's, and those other two, and then if you could win at Purdue, they will be getting votes. I'm not saying they will be
right
because that would be a big jump from where they are at 10, but they will get votes.
That's the other thing. This isn't the first good team they've played. And so, we've seen this Iowa State team play well against high-level competition. And so I don't know what the line will be.
I'm guessing 5-7.
That's probably what I was going to say, too. And, I mean, I would be surprised if Iowa State wins just because it is at Purdue. But it wouldn't shock me.
And we also we don't know the full Lipsy situation. When you say
what do you I mean,
I think he's going to play.
Seems like he's going to try to give it a go, right?
I think he's going to play, but it's like when it's a little ridiculous when we say you have nothing to lose because he could pull that groin again, and then you have Iowa next week, which is a huge game. I mean, we'll get to that. It's a huge game. This isn't. I mean, Iowa State will probably be a 10-point favorite in that, but Iowa has proven they've beaten good teams.
Yeah.
Now let's just lean into that conversation because they were beat up pretty good against Michigan State on Tuesday night. We'll start with you. Were you surprised by the outcome of that game at all?
No, not surprised. I had hope that it wouldn't end up like that. But the Breslin Center is a hard place to play, and we knew there was going to be a welcome to the Big Ten moment for not just these players and this roster, but for Ben McCollum and kind of the whole program as it's built right now. So I was disappointed that it got out of hand as quickly as it did, and then that Iowa was never really able to claw back. I think at one point they got it to like 12 points late in the first half, but I mean it was never really in question. So no, not surprised. And there's kind of two sides to this. One is, hey, that's a really good team. You're in the first year of a new coach and a new regime. You don't get too down about that. Iowa wasn't going to go undefeated. They weren't going to win the Big Ten, right? So going to Breslin, better teams than this have gone into the Breslin Center and gotten beaten by Tom Izzo and the Spartans and the refs when they're in that building. Mm-hmm. You don't get too down about it, but there is some realities here, and a lot of what we were worried about with Iowa's roster, the way it's built, came to fruition in that game. And I think in the 7-0 start, you kind of forgot about, hey, there's some deficiencies here, and there's some guys who maybe aren't at the Big Ten level on this roster. This isn't built as well as it hopefully will be in a couple of years under Ben McCollum. But I mean, there are going to be nights like this in the Big Ten when you don't have enough size, which Iowa doesn't. When you get out physicaled, when Bennett Sturts is held in check to some degree. You have to have somebody else. And so, yeah, these things that we were worried about coming into the season really were at the forefront on Tuesday night. And so that's a little worrisome because you're going to have opportunities in the Big Ten, and I think Iowa will find a way to beat a team it's not supposed to beat, maybe win a couple of games. It maybe shouldn't win on paper. But you're going to have a lot of games like this where maybe you don't lose by 20 and get run out of the gym, but you get out rebounded by double, and Bennett Sturts is held under 20 and nobody else can really step up. And so there's kind of two sides to it. One, I'm not super worried about it, but two, it does kind of bring you back down to earth where you thought this Iowa team might be ranked going into this week, and this doesn't feel like a top 25 team when you see it against a team like Michigan State.
Well, and it was the physicality that stood out to me. And we joke about it, but there is a reality that most of the team did come from Drake.
Yeah.
And it's just a massive difference from playing Big Ten basketball, like you mentioned, specifically when you're on the road in East Lansing. Like, you don't even sniff that in the Valley. Like, there's nothing even remotely close to it. So it's like, okay, so you got Sturts. And Sturts is probably, in my opinion, good enough to get you to the NCAA tournament with the guys around him.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
With your coaching,
I think that's what the expectation should be at this point.
Absolutely. With the coaching and with the guys around him, I think that's a very fair expectation. The problem is there's really, like, when you watch Iowa, I don't know who your second and third guys are. You just kind of have a lot of guys who, like, on one night, well, this guy can jump up and do it, but it's like Michigan State just said, we are going to just beat the shit out of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So there'll be copycats. You better believe Iowa State's going to do that. I would guess that they'll put Torrey on him to start. I mean, there's no need to have Taman Lipsey chasing him around and doing that. Like, you could probably do a lot of doubles. Iowa's got to develop a couple of guys to step up and help him pick up the slack, which was not evident even in those games against decent competition that Iowa had played prior to. It was kind of just, you never really needed that, which is a testament. And it's why I think, like, the Big Ten, to me, you probably have a better read on this than I do, but it's like you got some really good teams at the top, and then it feels like there's maybe a second tier, and Iowa probably is in the second or third tier at the very least. And then after that, you got a bunch of games you can win. Like, I watched Nico and Darren's game, and it's just like, I don't know, like, that's Indiana.
Yeah.
And they're ranked, there's no reason like Iowa couldn't beat either one of those teams on like an average night.
Exactly.
Right?
This could be a top half of the Big Ten team. It's not a top 4 team in the Big Ten, but I think you're exactly right. There's a weak middle part to the Big Ten where Iowa can find itself and kind of make some hay.
You can feast. And they did what they needed to do in the non-con is the thing. Like,
yes,
they won those games that's like, man, if you lose to Ole Miss, that they just have some chips that they can work with at the table. And I watched that game. To be honest, I didn't necessarily think they would lose by 20.
Yeah.
But I did think there would be a just kind of a come to Jesus moment for those, because again, it's just different. Like, you can't really. It's why we've seen this at Iowa State a lot. When you get these guys who come from mid-majors, it usually takes them half the season before they fully. Now, they can play well, but it's the physicality, the game's officiated differently. You're going against way better coaching for the most part. And that's where I'm kind of worried, like this deal with Iowa State on Saturday for the young guys. Like, I'm not worried about Jefferson. I'm not worried about Momcilovic. It's like they will have some sort of wrinkle for Killian Torrey that he hasn't seen before.
Yes,
they're going to do something to him that he hasn't seen before. How does he respond? If he's as good as I think he is, he may pass the test. Because I think he might be that good, but he probably won't because most freshmen don't do that, and that's a big-time environment you're going into. I think Iowa kind of got stuck in that. I wouldn't overreact to it. The Maryland game, though, feels important because I don't think you'll win at Hilton.
No.
I don't think
not.
you'll win at
I don't
Hilton.
either.
Just objectively, like I really don't. I think that's a terrible matchup for this
I do
Iowa
too.
team.
Yes.
But this Maryland game feels kind of important because you kind of want to avoid dropping the 3. And you made
feels hugely important. Yeah, I mean, so ever since the Big Ten stuck these 2 conference games in December, it feels like Iowa's always had a tough schedule when it comes to that. They're always playing at Michigan State or at Purdue or something like that. And so often under Fran McCaffrey, Iowa would start 0-2 in the Big Ten. And you get to 0-2 before Christmas. And, like, man, that's just an uphill battle from there on out. You have a Maryland team coming in that's beatable. This isn't a very good Maryland team like we talked about. The Big Ten gets weak pretty quickly. And you're at home. And you just got your ass kicked. It's time to kind of show what you have, how you're able to beat this team, how you're able to rebound from a game like that. I think I was very lucky in that you have a guy like Bennett Sturts to lead that team who's going to be a steady presence. The chemistry that they all have already kind of built in is a helpful thing because if this team was just cobbled together in the offseason, I think that's one of the positives of bringing all these guys from Drake is like if this is just a hodgepodge team, they probably don't have the level of chemistry yet.
Great point,
to feel good about it. But because so many of these guys have played together and kind of know how to play with each other, you feel good about that. I think Ben McCollum, we saw some chinks in the armor for the first time on Tuesday night from him too. It wasn't just that Iowa was out talented and outplayed. They were out coached by Tom Izzo and Michigan State. We've seen. McCollum has some weird things with the lineups. The starting lineups are always a little different. He tweaks with that a lot. I don't know if that's something he always does.
He is a more unconventional coach than
he really is. And
the timeout usage is weird.
It is, right?
It's a little bit of like Steve Promish.
And
like,
after 15 years of McCaffrey, like I think it's taken all Iowa fans like a little bit of getting used to. But things like Brendan Hawson not playing in the second half against Michigan State, like in his mind, he had a reason for that. And he talked about, he wanted guys who could drive. But it's like you have a guy out there who was probably your best player in the first half, who's played in big environments like this, and you're down by 20. Like, I don't care what you want to happen. You need to get that guy back on the floor. And so he needs to learn some things from, he had a welcome to the Big Ten moment as well on Tuesday night. And so it'll be really interesting to see how they regroup from that, how they come out. And then maybe as big as anything is how does this Iowa fan base, how is the crowd on Saturday? Because I've been frankly a little disappointed in the home crowds so far, but you get it. It's going to take a while to rebuild this thing. You weren't going to have a packed Carver against these bye-game teams. But now you've got a Big Ten team. It's a Saturday afternoon. The Hawkeyes don't play football, right? Like, you can pack this place. You can show this team what this arena can be like, and you can help them to a win. And so I think it's important that the fans get there. I think this is a really big game because you're right. They're not beating Iowa State. And you can't have an 0-3 stretch here and then go into a couple of, kind of joker games before you start Big Ten play again in January. It's just going to feel really, really bad if you lose this game against Maryland.
Yeah, and I admittedly need to watch Iowa a little bit more. There were a couple of those games where I was traveling and I didn't get to see them. I did watch the whole Michigan State game. It's just that what they're trying to do stylistically too is difficult against the really, really good teams.
Yes.
It works really well when like a team is like a notch more talented than you or you have the talent advantage. It's really hard to do against the elite teams. And they, again, like that was simply a game of physicality. And one team was they're bigger, faster, stronger, more physical. They had the whistle because they were at home. And I'm not overreacting to it, but I'm with you. Like, what, Matt, we probably don't have a line. They'll be a double-digit favorite against Maryland, though. Maryland stinks. Like, they're really bad. I would think Iowa would be like a 10, 12-point favorite.
I wonder what Ken Palm has them at.
I don't know. I'll look it up here during one of our segments. All right. So that's all coming up on Saturday. So Iowa's at, 3 or 3:30?
Ken Palm has Iowa as an 11-point.
Oh, I was
with
perfect.
An 11-point win.
All right. That's about where I would have put it at as well. And then Iowa State, I believe Ken Palm has is like a 5 or a 6. I don't know what happened if Iowa State's little outburst last night impacted the data at all. But it was funny though, because I'm getting all these tweets like people like, "Oh, take the starters out." I'm like, dudes, like they're playing 3 true freshmen, a walk on.
Yeah, right.
They like it reminded me of I used to call high school football games. That was my day job way back in the day in Western Iowa, and I would call out of eight player games. Well, the problem is in 8-player games, it's like usually you're just really good or you're really bad. There's not a lot of in between with these teams. And there was this one team, it was my wife's hometown, it was Stanton. And they were one of the best 8-player teams probably in history. Like they were just elite. And they would be, the 35-point clock would be running in like the first quarter because they would just hand the ball off and the guy would just score a touchdown. He wouldn't even get touched. And it would be like their 4th string, like their freshman team would do that to these teams. It's like, and I remember talking to the coach after the game. His name was Don Hicks, a legend down there. And he would be like, yeah, I'm just running the ball. Like I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. And that's what Iowa State reminded me of last night is like what Fred Hoiberg used to say, like where the rims like twice as big or whatever. Like Nate Heisey was like closing his eyes and hitting threes last night. Do you believe in saving threes? Do you think that's a real thing?
No, I don't.
I think it is. I think that they're going to go 2 of 18 on Saturday.
See, but that's going to happen regardless of how they did, right? I mean, you have this regression to the mean.
It's so
mentality.
real, Downs. It's so real.
Is that why Iowa didn't have as many interceptions
Yes.
this year, as many turnovers? Because they spent
it's
them
evening
all
out over
they spent
time.
them all in years past.
At some point, it evens out. It just has to.
It does, but like that's not. I don't think they spent their threes last night. I don't think Milan's like, oh well, I had 200 threes to make this season, and I just spent 8 of them.
My 6-year-old's kind of into it, and she was just going crazy, like, Dad, I think the Cyclones are going to win, because she doesn't know who Alcorn State is.
Right.
She doesn't understand that they were like a 50-point favorite or whatever it was. And I kept telling her, I'm like, we need to save some of these. I don't want the school record. We need to save some of these.
Well, if they get blown out by Purdue,
all right, real talk.
That up as a reason.
Real talk. When I think my guy Quentin at Freedom Tire would appreciate this. Quentin, text me and tell me if this is accurate. Okay, because when it gets this cold, stuff breaks with your car. Like, so I got I got a notification that my wife's tires were low. Like, this is the time of year where you got to baby these bad boys, especially if you have bad tires. I'm not being a jerk. I'm not just trying to plug an advertiser. This is real talk for your safety. Freedom Tire. Let these guys, they're pros. They are local dudes. I'm sure they have some gals too. That was sexist. I'm sorry. FreedomTire.com. What do you got,
Quentin. I got to call Quentin because my car keeps telling me my tire sensors have gone bad. Like that reads the pressure in your tires.
It's
not like the end of the world, but it's annoying because it keeps telling me.
Well, but it's important because if you're driving down the interstate and that's not working.
It's old school, man. It's like we used to drive our cars and didn't tell us when the tire
is true,
pressure was low.
But what do? We evolve. And now we have the luxury of the tire, like, for our safety, Matt.
Yep.
So don't feel bad about it, buddy. Don't feel bad about it. But you should go to Freedom Tire. We have locations in Altoona, Ames, Urbandale, Des Moines, and Altoona.
Hey, before we get off basketball,
what do you got?
Can I hit the Wyckoff comfort zone?
I would love you to. Let's go. Because it's
kick back and relax. 2 guys have entered the Wyckoff Heating and Cooling comfort zone.
Real quick on that before you dig into the content here, like we're talking about tires. The furnace is working overdrive.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm guessing our friends over at Wyckoff Heating and Cooling are probably getting a lot of calls today. Because it's just, this is the first time they've just really been constantly going. But here, WyckoffComfort.com for peace of mind under your roof. Where are you taking us today?
You're going to sweep the Cyhawk games next week. And I think you should take comfort in that. Regardless of what happens at Purdue on Saturday, this men's team is not losing to
this
Iowa.
is reverse
And
psychology at its finest right here.
I'm
This is
serious, man. Like
an
I
emotional
feel
hedge.
I mean, there's a little bit of that. I think the Iowa women have a real shot against.
I think
the
they have
Iowa
a
State
better
women.
shot than the men do.
I do too. But even then, I wouldn't bet on Iowa to win that game on Wednesday night in Hilton with Audie Crooks playing the way she is, with that team playing the way they are. I heard you and Bloom talking. You think this may be Fenley's best team, and that's saying something.
I have said that. I'm on the record with that. I also wasn't there in the early 2000s
right.
for those really good teams, but I can't imagine from like an athletic standpoint that those teams were anywhere close, because women's basketball has changed
It's
so
a whole
much.
different thing.
It's just so different.
And I like Iowa's team, and I think they're
I do
good
too.
and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think they're going to find a way to beat Iowa State in either of these games. And this is, I mean, the Cyhawks series, for whatever it's worth, is essentially over. I think I saw somebody in the comments say, if the women win, it is mathematically over. Cyhawks series doesn't mean much. I will say though, man, to have, assuming this happens, to have Iowa State win in football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and wrestling in a year where like Iowa is not down, right? Like these teams are not bad. Iowa football is going to end the season as a ranked team. Iowa men's basketball was just on the cusp of the rankings and is likely a tournament team. The Iowa women are going to be a top 25 team all season. The Iowa wrestling team is going to be a top 5 team all season. For Iowa State to sweep that series again against Iowa teams that are good, I mean, it just says a ton about Iowa State and how far they've come. And I know, again, listening to the CW pod and the book you just put together and kind of the progression that's happened, the evolution that's happened within that athletic department over the last 20 years. It's a tip of the cap, man. Like I hope it's not true. I hope Iowa finds a way to win both of these games. I'll be rooting hard next week for the Hawkeyes, but I don't see it happening. And tip of the cap to the Cyclones, man. That's a hell of a season to put together. And hold on to it while you can, because it's not going to happen very often.
No, well, it's never happened. If it happens, like there's never been a season in history where Iowa State has won all of the Big Four. In
You
the
think there's ever
history,
been a season where Iowa's won them all?
well, guarantee there's a bunch.
But there's been a lot.
Well, you do make.
But that's
it,
what
and
I'm saying, though.
I don't think you're
It's
just
not like
being
it's not like you're beating up on bad Iowa teams. It's
Yeah.
not like they got new coaches in every sport and they're not going to compete. You're beating good Iowa teams.
I think it's a testament to. Well, first of all, I'd be remiss if we didn't congratulate Bloom on a great run.
Oh yeah,
stepping down as the chairman. I don't know. I have no idea what executive.
How cool
director.
for Campbell to point him out yesterday or the other day. And I love the Blooms. Like we talk junk on Twitter and we're on opposite sides of this rivalry. But Brent and Crystal are good friends, and they've been good clients for me at AKC. I did a bunch of their merch at We Will. And yeah, shout out to them, man. Like to hear, and I'm sure you know more behind the scenes than anybody, but to like even hear publicly how they talk about what that job took out of them, what it required, is really, really cool.
Well, and that's the thing that's because Iowa, like you said, I think is in a good spot and probably trending up, really. Like,
Yeah.
because of the Big Ten situation. I think the world of Beth Getz, and I don't think that she's going to let anything slip, right? Like that she proved on day one when she comes in and makes the head coach fire his son, right? Like alleged. I don't know exactly how that went down, but it certainly felt like that was what happened.
Yes.
I think McCollum's going to win. I have all the confidence in the world in Jan Jensen. The wrestling thing feels iffy to me right now.
Yeah.
Feels like you may be on the end of a run. I don't know. We'll see. I to count Iowa wrestling out would be foolish because they've never been down.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, they'll come back at some point, but it feels like they may be at the bottom of a hill before they climb back up.
For sure.
The to your point, and I know you're not being a jerk. I was giving Downs crap last night via text. I'm like, this is the most unbelievable. Iowa State, for the most part, has done it with the lack of resources too, and that's to me, it's like you give so much credit to the coaches because they've been able to like Campbell's deal. And I'm sure every program to some extent has this, but like when you're a Big 12 program now, your top guys are always being recruited by the Big 10 and the SEC. So it's like you're having to re-recruit your own team, and then you're trying to develop these guys. And I know Iowa State basketball feels that because basketball is just weird. Like, so, I mean, I guarantee like Bennett Sturtz could have gone anywhere in the country and made 3 times more than he's making at Iowa. So McCollum had to deal with that too. But Iowa State has been in the bunker for about 3 years, and this is during NIL has been the best run in the history of the school.
And it's
which is crazy. It shouldn't work that way, but that's how it's worked out.
And when this whole NIL thing started, we were all worried. I think everybody, any college football fan, was worried that it was going to really lengthen the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And there are some ways in which it certainly has. But there's also so many stories like a Texas Tech where schools can, if you can get together some money, if you can like figure this out, work your way through it, you can kind of, you can take advantage of the situation. And I think Iowa State's done a good job of that. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the NIL as we move forward into like another new era. You're not going to have a guy like Brent Bloom who's out there pounding the pavement.
Yeah, it's different. It's all going to be different going forward than what we're used to in the last 3. That will be a deal when we are in our 60s, hopefully doing a show like this together, where we'll be like, yeah, remember those days when you'd win a game and you go on there and you get everybody to Venmo however many points you won by, and that'll be like, what?
Yeah, Herky the cat is asking for one more of these.
Can I have some money to pay the 100 deckers for his Big Deck Energy t-shirts?
All right, I'm deleting it from the library now.
No!
Thank you, Bloom. Thank you, Bloom.
Oh, man.
Can I have some money, please?
We'll see. I still think you're setting it up because if Iowa State loses, which they could. If
Iowa State loses either of these games, it's a huge disappointment. Like they should. You should expect wins in both of these games. Probably blowout wins.
I don't think the women will blow them out. I think the men could. But
I think the
with
men
Iowa's style, like it's just but if the Hausen, I think. Hausen. I mean, he had like 9 threes against Iowa State last year.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, this Iowa team,
basketball's weird. You know
it
that.
Is.
You have a good shooting night. The other team has a poor one. Like Iowa's not bad. Like we still think they're a tournament team.
Yes.
The women's game
McCollum's
is just
a good coach.
Is that Chit Chat right back? Is she hurt? I know she got hurt in that tournament, didn't she?
Yeah, she's still kind of day to day. It seems like it's like a concussion protocol type thing. She hit her head, so it's like a head and neck thing. So it's not they haven't given any sort of like long term prognosis. It seems like it's day to day. Hopefully she'll be back by then. Iowa plays Rutgers this weekend. The women do, and it's not a Rutgers team of old, so they should win that game.
I still don't like the Big Ten.
I hate it.
The December thing.
I hate it.
It feels like such a it doesn't represent what the team is during conference play.
Right, exactly.
Things change so much.
And like I say, I mean, you start 0-2 in the conference before you even hit Christmas, and like it takes so much air out of the season. And then like the having these big games and then going back into it's kind of like the football season every year where you have this early game that doesn't really matter. Then you play your biggest rival in Iowa and Iowa State, and then you go back to a game. And I know Iowa State usually has trouble with teams like Ohio and whoever the Arkansas
it's
State.
Always a problem.
But it's because you got up for this game and then you had this crappy game. And Iowa now, like, I know the Bucknell game at the Casey Center here in Des Moines. That's cool because it's in Des Moines and all of that. But again, it's Bucknell. Who cares? Iowa plays Western Michigan, Bucknell, and UMass Lowell between the Cyhawk game and then getting back into Big Ten play. So like it sucks to have these big games here and then kind of go into a lull.
Yeah, and they don't feel as big either.
No.
I can't.
No.
And I think one of the coolest parts of college basketball season is when you play like real non-conference games. Like last week, I was in heaven in Vegas watching Iowa State play St. Like, it's cool. Like, you don't
Yeah.
ever see these things. Like, just let it be. We'll get to Christmas, then we'll go play our conference season. I remember Iowa used to always tip off on New Year's Eve. They would always play their first Big Ten game.
Yep.
And we would watch bowl games, and we would watch the Iowa basketball game. And it was awesome. Like, it was just, we knew that was going to happen. Anyways, look at us, old balls, just striving for the past. All right, we have massive games. We are both clients of Game Day Men's Health.
Yeah.
Let's do our games of the week here with Game Day Men's Health.
Get up. It's game day. Chris Williams and Chris Hassel take a look at this week's best games. Powered by Game Day Men's Health.
It's nice to have Downs here because he's on the tee as well. He understands the tee. I don't know what I would do without it. I can't go back.
No.
I mean, I can, but I won't.
Right.
I can, but I won't.
And it's fun. Like, I was listening to Legends and Listeners this morning, and like Chad talking about the turkey trot and how good he feels. And I know Andy's using it now. It's like and then it's cool to go in there and they talk about, hey, we got a bunch of Iowa everywhere people, not just even at our local ones, but all over the country. There's guys going in saying, hey, I heard it on Iowa everywhere. It's a really cool thing.
And you can get a consultation booked. I would do it now if you're wanting to do one of those New Year's challenge things.
Yes.
Get in, because everybody will want to be like doing this in January. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. I go to the one in Ankeny. I think that's the one you go to.
It is.
There's
yeah.
also one in West Des Moines and North Liberty, and even our group owns Naperville, Illinois. Over there, they own a bunch of locations, but appreciate their sponsorship. So I kept it pretty simple here because we don't have 6 games to dive into. We're going Big Ten, we're going Big 12, and we're going SEC. And we'll probably hit on a bunch of these in our locks of the week as well. But again, like, this is a weird all these championship games, specifically like the Big Ten one.
Yeah.
It's like it matters.
I guess.
It'll matter in like playoff seeding.
Yeah.
But I don't. It would be a really big deal for like Iowa and Iowa State if they could win the Big Ten or the Big 12 championship game. It would be a big deal to Indiana if they could win this game.
That's the thing, right? Like, Indiana winning a Big Ten championship and beating Ohio State is important to that program and that fan base. It's not important to Ohio State. This game doesn't mean anything to Ohio State.
Like this SEC game, I guess it does matter because if you're Bama and you get to, I don't know. These championship games, though, they seem dated.
Yeah.
With the current setup, especially if we are going to expand the playoff again, which we know we are.
Yeah, because then every team's going to be in, right?
Right. And I don't know exactly. I would probably do away with them, but they won't because there's too much revenue involved with all of these. I would probably make like if it were up to me, this would be like a week off for the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and ACC, and we would have like a group of 5 like play-in tournament to get to the playoff. I don't know. Like, let's celebrate the group of 5 like we do Army, Navy.
Yeah.
Like they have their own spot, and it's great, and we all love that game. I don't know. All I know is these games don't feel like they used to me because of the playoff. And I'm not even saying it's like a bad thing. I just think it's a very natural, like, we all evolve and like things change over the years. But this Ohio State Indiana game where we've been trained, where the only thing that matters in our sport now is the playoff. So does this game matter that much? And my gut says not really.
No.
But I also know last year I was in Arlington at this time, and it was a huge deal. If Iowa State could have won a Big 12 championship, like, we would have burned couches in Ames that night. So I'm kind of talking out of both sides here.
No, yeah, I get it. And like the problem with this Indiana-Ohio State game is even if it's a great game, and I think it probably will be, and I think it'll be fun to watch and like good for us, and I do think Indiana has a lot of motivation to go win it. You're going to kind of wonder, did what you see matter? Was it the actual game? Like, hopefully these two teams will meet up again in the playoff, and there will be something on the line, and then you'll see the real game, right? Isn't that kind of what we're all waiting for? So, like, this feels like almost an exhibition where, again, I think both teams probably want to win, but it's not the most important game. It should be the most important game.
In theory, you could even they won't. You could rest guys.
Absolutely.
If you're either one of these teams.
Yeah, definitely. Now,
Which
that's
is
not the case
insane
in all of
because
these
it's such a
championship
long
games, but
it's such a long time to the playoff where it really doesn't make any sense. But
no.
Like,
but I mean, if one of their key players gets hurt in this game, that's a bad thing.
If a guy tweaks an ankle in the first quarter and like normally he would come back in, I wouldn't put him back in.
Oh hell no. Yeah, if there's anybody questionable at all, you hold them out of this game because again, it doesn't really matter.
All right. Well, this is probably it's definitely the best game of the weekend, Ohio State. So I'm just a Big 12 guy. This one has major playoff implications, though.
Yes.
With Texas Tech and BYU. BYU gets rolled. I'm just going to delay the analysis on this because we're both picking this in our Wild Rose Casinos locks of the week.
Yep.
And then the SEC game between Bama and Georgia. Shocking. Bama and Georgia.
No way.
In an SEC championship. I don't have a lot to offer here. So let's dive right in. Locks of the week, Wild Rose Casino.
Dropping these locks all over your face.
All over your face.
Is that what you guys say?
Yeah. The Wild Rose Casinos in Clinton, Emmitsburg, Jefferson present locks of the week. I'm a little nervous because I had such a good regular season. And I don't have I like in the regular season where I have like 50 games in front of me and I can, because what I do is I narrow them down all week and I'm like, okay,
this is pretty limited this week.
Sunday night, I circle like 15 that I like and then I narrow it down and I narrow it down and I narrow it down. And I had a good process this year and I'm feeling good. I don't have the same feel about I didn't really want to pick. There was one game and it was Virginia minus 3.5 against Duke.
That line just jumps out at you.
It does because I've watched Virginia and I think they're like a good team.
I think so too.
Yeah,
and I don't think Duke is.
I think Duke's just lucky to be there.
Yes, and I think they probably feel that way. I mean, Virginia beat Duke by 17 at Duke 3 weeks ago.
So this one to me screamed at me, bet it now. It's probably going to be 5.5 by the time this game kicks off.
I agree. I was shocked that this line is as low as it is.
Virginia was leading that game 31-3 too, going into the fourth. So it was not even a close game.
Hey,
and it's not like Duke has a lot to play for. It's not like they're playing for a playoff spot, obviously a conference championship. But I think they backed their way into this game. They probably feel lucky to be there, and Virginia can kind of take it out on them.
Matt, pull it up too. This isn't one of my locks. What is the line on James Madison and Troy? I would sprinkle James Madison as a huge favorite in that game. I didn't put it as a lock because I'm not laying 24 points in a championship game in my locks.
Right.
That's insane, batshit crazy stuff. But that one, if in a championship game you have a line that big, you just take the favorite. It's a pretty easy call 90% of the time. All right, so I'm going to take the over for Indiana and Ohio State at 47.5 in the Big Ten Championship for a couple of reasons. It's just the amount of talent on offense, right? Mendoza might be the top pick in the draft. Is there a better combo in the country than Sayin and Smith for Ohio State? Probably not. They're indoors. Just feels high scoring to me. It's not great analysis, but it's there's so much talent. Ryan Day is an offensive coach. I'm taking the over 47.5. Don't feel great about it, but it's one of my picks.
I think that's a good pick. I mean, there should be a lot of scoring. And like we talked about, if there's any lack of motivation, that's going to show up defensively. You know what I mean?
Great point. Yeah.
These teams will be able to score on each other.
The other one is I'm going to play the under. I like this one better for what it's worth for BYU and Texas Tech. So I do have some stats pulled for you guys. So Tech this year, and they haven't played a great schedule, but if you've watched them, you know how good their defense is. Their defensive line might be the best in the country. But they're second nationally, giving up only 11.6 yards per game. I like yards per play. It's my favorite stat. 3.9, second nationally. So that's what opponents are giving. Meanwhile, BYU is really good in that statistic too, because they are giving up I didn't pull their yards per play, but only 19 points per game. So 2 really good defenses. Here's why I'm playing the under. Because BYU just played Texas Tech, and they got killed by them in Lubbock. This was 3-4 weeks ago. You have a freshman quarterback. You have a predominantly rushing offense. If I'm gonna trust this freshman quarterback, which he's proven very trustworthy, but I'm gonna keep it on the ground. And I think Kalani Sitake will do everything he can to shorten this game.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of Iowa football.
Yeah.
Is what I suspect BYU will do. Limit turnovers. Punting is winning at some point. If you're BYU in this one, that's going to be an electric crowd. BYU travels as good as anyone in the country. They're like Nebraska fans. And then Texas Tech is they've never won a Big 12 championship or they haven't in really, really, really long time. So it feels to me, I would be hesitant to bet on the plus 13 with BYU only because, I think all indications would say that would be the side I would be on. But I just think Texas Tech might just be that much better than everybody else in the Big 12. Their only loss was without their quarterback at Arizona State, and they had Levitt at that point. They had Jordan Tyson. Arizona State's a totally different team at that point. I'm saying this is going to be a lower scoring game than 49.5, under 49.5. So those are my 3 plays. Virginia, under in the Big 12, over in the Big 10.
Yeah, and for a lot of the same reasons you just talked about BYU, I am going to play that plus 12.5 because I get it. I do think it's a slowed down game. I think their motivation is off the charts. They feel dissed by the College Football Playoff Committee and probably should. Their coach is coming back. They have all the hype around that. Some of this is like an emotional pick because, like I just said, hey, Duke just got blown out by Virginia. Well, BYU just got blown out by Texas Tech also. But I do think this is going to be a closer game. I think it is going to be low scoring. Yeah. And I think 12.5 is just a lot of points in a game like this. So
Duke's not playing to get into the playoff either.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. BYU has all the motivation in the world. They got the chip on their shoulder. They got their coach coming back. They'll travel well. I think that's just too many points. I don't expect BYU to win this game. I kind of hope they do. I'm starting to kind of like BYU, which is I don't want that, but I find myself getting there. And so I'm going BYU plus 12.5.
Well, BYU's interesting. I've talked about it a lot because they always seem to trick us. Like we just think they're not going to be very good. And then one little stat for you here, and this doesn't mean a lot because Tech has not played many good teams in this stretch. But one of them happened to be BYU, though. In Tech's last 5 games, they've won by a combined 211-36. So again, jeez. I was texting with a national reporter last night who didn't understand this line, and he was asking me about it, and I said, it's just data. It's not football. Tech is just killing everybody who gets placed in front of them right now. We'll see if Sitake, who chose to stay at BYU over Penn State, can have his team ready. What else you got?
So we talked about the Virginia Duke game. I don't need to go into more of that. I'm doing it, baby. Bears plus 6.5.
Oh, look at this. We got a homer
Packers.
pick.
We got the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Chicago Bears. This is a different Bears team. This is a different Bears franchise. This is not the team that's owned by the Packers. I know it's in Lambeau, and I know the Packers are good, and they're playing well. I don't know that the Bears are going to win this game. My heart tells me they will, but the way the Bears are playing right now, they've won 9 of their last 10. The way they ran the ball Friday afternoon against Philadelphia was something to behold. The way the offensive line is playing right now. Caleb Williams isn't as good as Jordan Love right now. He's not going to go out and win you this game, but the offensive line and the running game can. The defense can hold them. I think this is a pretty low scoring and a pretty close game. Again, I don't know if this was if the Bears were favored in this game or something. I don't know. I wouldn't feel nearly as confident about this pick. I don't know that the Bears are going to win. I hope to God they do. I fucking hate the Packers, and I love what the Bears are doing right now. But Ben Johnson's a different dude. This is a page-turning moment for this Bears franchise to show that I think the last couple, so many of these games were so close, right? And it kind of felt fluky. And it still feels a little bit fluky. But these last couple of games, and certainly Friday against Philadelphia, the Bears kind of solidified something, right? And it's like, hey, maybe they're better than we were giving them credit for. Maybe it isn't all fluky. Maybe winning these close games has built something more than just like they're getting lucky to find ways to win these games. And so I think this is a big moment for this franchise. And I think the Bears are going to find a way to get it done. Again, I don't know if they're going to win. I don't think the Packers win by a touchdown. So I'm taking the Bears plus 6.5.
I like that play. I mean, a conference home or conference road underdog and two good teams. That's a good system play. That's a sharp Andrew Downs. I like it.
Can we get a Da Bears from you?
Da Bears. Come on, baby. This is big.
Matty Van Winks just completed a winning record on the regular season at 25
how about that?
and
Very
22.
nice.
Good job, buddy.
When I joined this lock segment, William just crapped all over me. I had a winning week my first week.
Hey,
like,
you had to prove yourself, buddy.
Did I prove myself? All right.
Yeah, you did great. Good job.
All right, I got
What do
3
you got?
college games, 1 NFL, just like Downsy. All right, the Alabama Georgia. I didn't want to touch that spread. This line I think is based off their previous meeting. I think Alabama's defense has gotten a lot better. I don't see this game running away and these teams just scoring a ton of points heading into the playoffs. So I'm going to take the under 47.5 in this game with you both on the Virginia game against Duke. All right, North Texas, Tulane.
Boy, is that a terrifying thing that we're all on Virginia that confidently?
No.
A little bit.
How?
If you're a listener and you're like, oh, all 3 of those guys like Virginia, I better go. I would go the other way, but
I mean, it's crazy. If Duke wins that game, the ACC doesn't get a team in, probably, right?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
and then
Duke
honestly,
sneaks in,
but that's another reason why I like James Madison, though.
Yeah,
Because
and
if they
if BYU
kill
wins.
Troy, and well, if Duke wins and James Madison is like super impressive, they would probably be the other team that would get that at large.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
uh,
Crazy. North
All right, what
Texas,
else you got,
Tulane.
Matty?
I've gotten bit on North Texas this
oh,
year.
look at this! You just going back to the well.
I am.
Jeez.
North Texas, Tulane under 66.5. They keep baiting us with these huge numbers for North Texas because they put up a ton of points, but
2 teams that have lost their coach, and I know James
Yes.
Madison's has as well, but they're all coaching in these games
are.
because they have playoff implications. So the winner of this game basically goes to the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go
Crazy.
Wave. Go Green Wave.
And you're going back to the NFL.
I'm going to the NFL. Rams -8 versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are horrible.
Yeah. Feels like
Horrible.
they've just quit.
The Rams just lost to the Panthers, so they are hungry for a win. They're still in the
I like
fight
this.
for the NFC West. They need this win. -8 versus the Cardinals. Lock it up.
Yeah, no,
Going a perfect week here.
man, okay. Yeah, I'm very hesitant because I was so good in the regular season. I could see myself just falling on my face during like bowl season, and because again, like I'm a return to the mean guy.
Yeah.
Theme of the show.
You used up all your good picks.
All my 3s are gone. I'm gonna get really ice cold here. All right, locks of the week. We appreciate Wild Rose Casinos bringing that to us. Let's go along quickly with our friends from Wealth Charter.
It's time to go long with Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
You guys know the drill, and I'm going to keep burning it into your head. The financial thing is this is the perfect time of year to start making plans for your new year. You're going to have somebody do. And I'm a huge proponent of not doing your own taxes. I learned that a long time ago. The cool thing about Wealth Charter is they can do everything under one roof. They can do tax stuff. They can do retirement planning, everything. Give them a shot. I promise you won't regret it. Let's my going long here is it's not original, but I think Andrew and I can have a pretty good conversation on it. Is just like all this stuff going on in college football right now. The Lane Kiffin deal, I don't want to spend too much time just talking about him specifically because everybody's doing that across the board. But this is like a bigger conversation to me. First of all, Downs, is there ever been a more unlikable team than what LSU's going to? Because I didn't think you could hate LSU more than when Kelly went there.
Yeah, right.
But I honestly, like, it didn't really bother me because it's like he is who he is. We know who Lane Kiffin is. Like, this shouldn't have surprised anybody what happened last week. But it was when I was reading about those Ole Miss players and, like, they're basically calling him a liar. like stuff that he's saying in his press conference and stuff. And it's just like, God dang. Like, so anyways, it's just that, but just like the general state of the sport is so, and some of this is just so natural, but I'm looking around there. We've got 3 teams right now that have a playoff potential in North Texas, Tulane, James Madison. There might even be more that I'm not thinking of who are playing games this weekend to go to the playoff, and their coaches have already taken other jobs. Yesterday was so weird. Yesterday was National Signing Day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys even realized that. I run a fan site. National Signing Day used to be our biggest traffic day of the year. And I didn't even realize it was National Signing Day until the day before.
Jeez.
This year, because it's just which whatever. Like in the middle of, I'm not even saying we need to do it in February. The only thing I know, is that the calendar of this sport is just so screwed up. Like, and I don't necessarily know how you fix it, but we've got to find a way where these coaches can't just leave right before the playoff. And it was already bad enough with all these guys skipping bowl games and like, because it made us not care about the bowl games. You have a minor risk of diminishing the playoff, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what Lane Kiffin is doing diminishes the playoff, right? I mean, it's
in my mind, it does.
You have an opportunity to do the thing you're supposed to want to do, win a national championship, play for a national championship at the school you're at, and you don't even take that opportunity. You go to another school. It's the Lane Kiffin thing is wild because he, I think, was so unlikable as a young man when he shot to the top of the sport of football, period, and then kind of fell on his ass, right? And we all kind of laughed at it, and then he built himself back up, and he kind of worked his way up, and he's candid, and he's fun, and he's funny, and like all of a sudden you kind of, hey, I kind of like Lane Kiffin. He's, hey, you know, and then one decision, and like within just a few days, like you said, everything that's come out about that situation, he's just the most hateable guy, and it's like he's maybe like the most famous college football coach out there right now. Maybe Bill Belichick because of everything he did with the Patriots, but like this is broken containment of sports fans and college football fans. Like my wife's talking about Lane Kiffin.
Dude,
Everybody
it was on like
knows.
Feinbaum was on CNN the other night.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Caitlin Collins was interviewing him in like prime time on CNN. Like we don't have other stuff to talk about on cable news right now.
I was down in Mississippi for a wedding the week before the Egg Bowl, leading up to the Egg Bowl, and it's all anybody. You know, the people down there know. My wife's family knows I'm in sports, and it's all anybody wanted to talk to me about. Lane Kiffin, what's going to happen? What's he going to do? And I was kind of picking their brains. Is it way worse if he goes to LSU than Florida? And yes,
Dude,
is the answer.
I can tell you from experience with my one long weekend I've spent in Oxford. I've told this story before. If you've heard it, I apologize. But me and a group of friends went to we like to go to just random college football games. We're going to do it a lot more as we get older. And just one week a year, we're going to go to a different iconic stadium. And in 1 year, about 10 years ago, it was 10 years ago, we went to Ole Miss, LSU in Oxford. Stupidly did not know that was even a rivalry. Like, I just thought that it was just a random SEC game. It was the one weekend that worked for us. We picked it and we went. And Ole Miss wasn't even that good, although they did win the game. And get to talking to locals and stuff. Like, they hate them as much as they do Mississippi State.
Yes.
Like, this Hassel made a great comp on Monday where he's like, this would be like if Ferentz would just up and go to Wisconsin right before going to the playoff. Like, imagine how we would feel in this state. It really is and like the Notre Dame thing with Kelly, I kind of understood because that was at a time where Notre Dame was still academics mattered more. And Kelly genuinely thought, like, I can't win a national title here in the current setup. Now, I think he could now because Notre Dame has modernized its football a lot since Brian Kelly left, and probably took Brian Kelly leaving for certain people there to do it. This, to me, in LSU, a lot of people think it's the best job in the country. This, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense, just from even a football standpoint. It's like, because there's money in Oxford. It's not like they're hurting for that. Well, and it brings me to the Kalani Sitake situation because this is really fascinating. Penn State is by all means, a more prestigious, better football job than BYU. Or is it? You get the crumble cookie guy, starts tweeting. I mean, he's basically, from what I understand, bought their basketball roster, which is top 10 in the country. And maybe it's not about that. Maybe Kalani Sitake is just a man who, from what I understand, is a very grounded. He seems very anti-Lane Kiffin to me, from what I know. But he makes the decision, no, I'm going to stay in a quote-unquote lesser conference at a lesser program. Now, he's not poor. Like, he's going to get a huge raise, and they have a ton of money. Just the whole I say this every offseason when we're doing, like, our win-loss totals and preseason rankings and all. Like, you have to – I think at no more in this sport, no point than ever before, no point more than ever, whatever I'm trying to say. You cannot – just be like, well, Florida State was good in the past. I don't know. From where I sit, Texas Tech with Cody Campbell and BYU with the crumble cookie guy, they're probably going to be national powers in the next 5 years. Now, I don't know if it'll last longer than that, and you could certainly do things to screw it up. But we just have to get look at Penn State right now. Nobody wants to go there. It's incredible.
And at BYU and at Texas Tech, the expectation is not yet to win a national championship, right? And maybe they'll get there. Maybe BYU will start making the playoff year in and year out, and Sitake won't be able to get them over the hump, and it'll get stale, and they will set that level of expectation. But Penn State has clearly set not getting to the playoff, not getting to the semifinals, right? They've set the expectation. You have to win a national championship here. And if you don't, we'll fire you.
Or you're a failure.
Yes. Yes. And that's a really tough place to be at a place like Penn State. That's not Ohio State. That's not LSU or Georgia or Alabama. Like, Penn State's a very good football program. It's not a top 5 football program. It's not a program where you can have the expectation that you compete for a national championship every single year. And that's where they're at right now, man. And I think clearly they thought they were bigger than they are. I think when they made the decision to fire James Franklin, they either thought they had somebody who was going to come who either had decided not to. Because there is that thought that maybe they have something in the wings. Maybe there's something worked out, and it's one of these coaches that's still in the playoff, and we just don't know about it yet. But it does not feel like that. It feels like they're grasping for straws at this point. And how do you fire a guy like James Franklin halfway through the season and not have a plan? Not have, as Murph said yesterday on Murph and Andy, a backroom handshake deal with somebody. Like, you can't go into this with this little of a plan.
And if I'm a coach right now and I get called by Penn State, like, I'm very skeptical of the leadership. I don't know if the AD who hires me is going to be there in a year.
Right.
Which is massive. Like, that's all these coaches will tell you that. Like, it's the biggest thing ever when you get an athletic director or presidential shift. That's when everything starts. Like, look at Iowa, right? Like, Kirk went from having he could do anything he wanted with Barta. Beth comes in, he's got to fire his son, right? And I would be highly, highly skeptical of that Penn State job at this point, especially with as far behind they are in their recruiting process. They should have an entire roster put together for next year. Like Murph said, with the back. That's how all these transfers work, by the way. It doesn't, the portal opens in January. BS. It's all happening right now. Yes. All right, let's move on to poor choices because one might say that Penn State made a poor choice.
Oh, yeah.
And this is presented by our friends at Toppling Goliath, as always.
You a pseudo-sue, AD, or a cyber-sue?
So I haven't had the cyber-sue yet. I'd love the pseudo-sue.
Come by the office. I got a 6-pack I'll give you.
All right, nice. I will.
Good stuff.
I made a poor choice yesterday, and it was...
Oh, no.
God. I'm so sore today. So we take the kids, and we're the family. We're like the Griswolds. We cut down our own Christmas tree every year. Take the axe out there.
Go to the backwoods of Bondurant.
We go up. It's over by Cambridge. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
There's not any trees in Bondurant big enough to be
Stratman's Tree Farm?
Yeah.
Good people up there.
So, well, they're not letting you drive into the thingamajigs this year because it's too snowy because people get stuck. So we go up there, and they've got like a barn that's full of these trees.
Yeah.
And
big trees in there.
And it was like, it was starting to get really cold, you know? And one of the most bonehead moves of my life, it wasn't really a poor choice, but it fits. I stepped on the running board of my truck, and it was like I went on a slide, and I biffed it so hard where my wife and kids were like silent because they didn't know if I was going to pop up or not.
Like Harry in Home Alone on the steps.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's exactly what it was. Thank God nobody else saw me, but like I have this giant bruise on my arm. My left hip is just like on fire right now. I honestly thought I might have broken my arm, but it didn't help that it was like 10 degrees. So all that just, you feel it more.
Oh, yeah.
We went out there. Willens, we went out there to get our tree like 4 or 5 years ago, and they give you like a little saw, right, to cut your tree down.
Yeah.
Well, when we were cutting the tree down, I like totally butchered my hand on the saw out there. I will never cut my own tree down. Never.
Man. Well, it was, and then there was another poor choice because instead of checking on me, my wife just starts laughing. She thought it was the funniest thing ever that I just biffed it. Like I could have hit my head on that running board and just been knocked out right there, just left for dead. My wallet went flying. Horrible. So there, it's not really a poor choice, but I could have used a toppling Goliath at that. Do you got anything to add to this, Downs? I know you have a sports topic.
Yeah, I have my poor choices. Both the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, because it seems like he's about to get traded. He's now asked for that trade. It felt like it might happen in the offseason, but then it didn't. They were going to see how they started this season. Started off the first few games really well, but they've been bad lately. This is not a team that's going anywhere, and he wants out. He wants to be a Knick. I don't know why you would want to be a Knick. You're not going to win a championship with the Knicks, but I think it's a poor choice on both sides if they part ways. Again, he's 31. He wants another shot at a title. I understand that. But I think he's still young enough that Milwaukee can find a way to build around him if they can convince him to stay. More importantly, though, like you're just going to screw up your legacy as a Buck. And he'll always be a franchise great. He's a 2-time MVP, brought a championship there. No matter where he goes or what he does, he'll always be welcome back. His jersey will hang from the rafters, all that kind of stuff. But we've just lost this in sports, especially in the NBA with the player movement, where it does mean something if you stay somewhere. It does mean something to play your entire career at a place like that. He's such a good fit in Milwaukee. It's been such a good, long-standing relationship. Maybe it is better for both him and the franchise if they part ways, but it just sucks. It sucks for the fans in that city. It sucks for where we are in sports generally right now. And so I think it's a poor choice on both sides if they part ways, and I think it's going to happen sooner than later.
I couldn't agree more. And it's one of the reasons why I just don't really pay much attention to the NBA anymore. Yeah. I do, but it's like I'm watching Niang and Halliburton. Like I was a huge Bulls when we started in this industry together. I watched the Bulls religiously.
Yeah.
And then when Fred got the job, I was as big of a fan as I've ever been. But I just can't get into it anymore because of that. Like it feels like they just take fans for granted.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I'm a little bit worried about this in college athletics too. If we don't get some sort of a deal done with players where it's not the unlimited I'm not trying to restrict them. They should have a seat at the table. They should have some sort of union to protect them. But it really is hard. Like, is there a harder sport to follow as a fan than college basketball?
No.
Like, how many times do you turn on a game and you're like, that guy, he's at Ohio State now? Like, I don't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's hard to even follow your own local teams because of the roster turnovers year in and year out.
Try being a Drake fan right now.
Oh my
They've had completely different rosters 3 years in a row. Like, God bless them. Like, they just love Drake.
I mean, even as an Iowa fan, we're 8 games into the season. I'm still getting to know a lot of these guys, getting to know the names. Like, and I've watched almost every game, and I still don't feel like I have a great feel for this team yet.
I completely agree with your point. And I think that they take fans for granted.
Yeah.
And it's not Giannis's fault.
No.
It's not any of these individual players' fault. It's just where we've gotten with this. And really, the NBA thing kind of started with LeBron and D-Wade, and then everybody else kind of got copycat. Well, not really. I mean, the Lakers did it with Malone, but those guys were all at the end of their career, like Gary Payton.
That was the
different.
thing. Like the ring chasing was always a thing at
But
the
they
end of
weren't-
your career.
Those guys weren't like manipulating rosters and stuff.
Yes.
Like backroom deals and
Yes.
like it. At the end of the day, all these institutions, again, I don't blame any of the individuals involved in any of these things. If you're a college basketball player and you transfer to get more money elsewhere, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
You can and you should. You have no idea how long you're going to be able to play the game. The institutions cannot take the fan interest for granted, because once that's gone, like the NBA, I would guess, I know they're doing just fine. But there's not nearly as many fans of teams as there were 20 years ago.
No. And the regular season is way too long, and it doesn't matter
They don't
nearly
care.
as much. And I mean, like they were. It was such a good finals last year. Like the playoffs last year were so intriguing, and everybody got into it, and it really felt like, hey, the NBA was having a moment. And then it won't feel like that again until, May.
Yeah.
It's probably like baseball. Like this baseball World Series kind of got everybody back into it a little bit, and people started, hey, I kind of like I like watching baseball. That doesn't mean people are going to be watching in May, right?
No.
It means people will pay attention again come the playoffs, and that's kind of where the NBA is too.
There was a weird element of purity with that NBA Finals last year too, because it was these homegrown teams.
Yeah.
And I think that fans really liked that. And I remember the TV ratings weren't great, but they were a lot better than people thought.
Yes.
Because it was just different. And
it was part of the zeitgeist. I mean, it was bigger, just kind of, it was around more. You had more people talking about it. It was a bigger deal than it had been in several years.
That's a good one. I don't remember the last NBA topic we touched, but that's a big I was like, copy the NFL, because like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He could have said, I want to go play for the Jets.
Right.
So I can live in New York. No. He's, purchased part of the Royals. He purchased part of the women's soccer franchise. He's like embedded his entire family and life into Kansas City, and he's going to be an icon in that community forever.
Yes. And that's what we've lost. Steph Curry, he's like that.
Yep.
Shout out to him.
Kobe
was like that. And as a Lakers fan, like that meant everything to me.
I don't know what I would have done if Jordan in his prime would have just been like, I'm going to go play for the Knicks.
Right?
I would have been heartbroken.
Crazy.
All right, we got to wrap this thing up. Let's do old.
Hey, can I give a shout out to our friends at the Iowa Wild real quick? Just a reminder, their game's coming up this weekend. Saturday, December 6th is their teddy bear toss game. Bring a stuffed animal teddy bear to the game. Toss it on the ice when the Wild score their first goal, and they're donating all those toys to the Salvation Army. Really cool idea around the holidays.
Also want to give a shout out to the Kaburskis.
Oh, yeah.
Our homies.
Can't forget about our Kabursky bros.
Well, it doesn't feel like landscaping season or lawn care season, but it is snow removal season.
No. Yeah.
God, I would have loved to have had
Boy,
that way. Well, the problem with the dam is the most annoying thing in the world not when you've done your driveway 3 times and then the plow shoves all the ice down to the bottom.
Well, and I live in a
corner.
cul-de-sac. Yeah,
yeah,
same, right? So it's like it dumps everything. I get like
and
2
they're
feet.
just doing their job. I
Right.
understand, but God, talk about poor choices.
Yeah, you might need to call the Kaburskis after that fall, Williams.
Jeez. Yeah. Hey, Alex, could you go cut down a tree for me next year? Let's cheers to the freaking weekend with our friends at Steeple Ridge.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Let's raise our glass of Steeple Ridge bourbon.
So, real quick on this, I'm going to be at Steeple Ridge, or at the Lonely Oak Distillery. Steeple Ridge is the name of the bourbon. But a week from tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to do whiskey sampling at the distillery, at their tasting room. We're going to have a book event where I'll have books to sell. I'll be signing them. And Pat's got a bunch of cool, he's got a cocktail he's calling the Fanatic with my favorite, the Black Label. So that will be in Earling. So if you're even if you're not an Iowa State fan, I don't care. If you're if you just like the show, come on out and just You can sample some bourbons. Great opportunity to buy some bottles for holiday gifts. I know I'm going to do that. I'm planning to stock up when I'm out there. And he's got all the good stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's say you got the special collection stuff out there.
It's hard to find a lot of the stuff in stores sometimes, the special stuff, and they're going to have it all out there. So that'll be out in early. And if you're Northwest Iowa, Northern Iowa, and you want to come and hang out with us, I think I'm going to be there at like 4. I think the actual event starts at 5, but we'll remind you about it next week as well. So my weekend is packed. I've got Iowa State basketball at 11 Saturday. I've got Iowa basketball at 3, all the conference football games. I'll be locked into that. My wife is working, so I'm running kids around to like birthday parties and stuff.
I got the exact same thing.
And I'll be out in Arizona, so that Iowa State tip off at like 9 a.m. for me.
Oh, man.
So you're just going out to hang out with family? Is that the
deal? Well, here's my cheers. It's my mom's 70th birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom.
Good job, Mom.
With the grandkids. So we're going to celebrate my mom, grandma out in Arizona. So,
what? You got a direct flight?
Direct flight down to Phoenix.
You got to do the direct with the kids. That's pay the extra, get the direct. What are you flying at? Like 5 a.m.?
No, we leave in the afternoon, like 2:30. So got a later flight. Perfect.
Well, hopefully you don't have any delays or anything like that, because that's not any fun.
No, weather looks pretty good. Yeah, 70s down in Arizona. So looking forward to getting the hell out of here.
Well, Downs, thanks for filling in, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. This was
fun.
Well,
you're the automatic. You're the go-to. You're my best friend in the entire world.
I appreciate it.
And then Hassel, he's supposed to be back. He may just move to Mexico. We have no idea. Maddie will be out next week. Jake Brend, I know, is going to fill in and be Jakey Van Wink's for 1 or 2 days. How long are you going to be out there, man?
We fly back Monday. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just
quick
Monday.
Trip I'm thinking that I might have to be out there as well, because I know nobody's projecting it, but I'm hearing strong rumblings that Iowa State will be out there for a bowl game, but we'll see. He is Andrew Downs. My name is Chris Williams. We appreciate Fareway Meat and Grocery, as always, for sponsoring the show. We are in the Channel Seed Studios, as always. New Legends and Listeners is up on the feed right now. We'll have a live Murph and Andy on Friday at 1 here on Iowa Everywhere.